If you're loving this podcast, be sure to check out the full lineup. From news and local politics to sports and true crime. Find your next great listen right now at duluthnewstribune.com/podcasts. That's duluthnewstribune.com/podcasts.
Hello, Northlanders. It's Friday, March 10th. I'm Wyatt Buckner with your Duluth News Tribune Minute, presented by Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union.
The average MPECU member saves over $785 a year in better rates and lower fees. And with MPECU, every ATM is your ATM. With their free checking program, you get ATM fee reimbursements at any ATM anywhere in the U.S. Check out Minnesota Power Employees Credit Union services online at mpecu.com or visit their offices in downtown Duluth, Arrowhead Road, or Miller Trunk Highway.
It's Friday, and if you're looking for some fun weekend ideas, Duluth News Tribune arts entertainment reporter Jay Gabler has some options in this week's Best Bets.
Lots going on this weekend, as always, in Northland. Here are a few ideas for shows you can go see this weekend and, in some cases, beyond in Duluth. Minnesota Ballet is presenting Sleeping Beauty. Now, that is not as well known, nearly as well known as Tchaikovsky's ballet The Nutcracker, but you might be more familiar with the music than you think if you've ever seen the Disney movie from 1959. That movie used music from Tchaikovsky's ballet. The Minnesota Ballet will be presenting Sleeping Beauty this weekend at the Deck. Then Saturday, there's Caravan du Nord at Sacred Heart Music Center. This is a program presented by the Minnesota Music Coalition and sponsored by Minnesota Public Radio's The Current. It's a series of musical events in cities across Minnesota with live performances as well as workshops and networking opportunities for the benefit of local musicians. Saturday night at Sacred Heart, the lineup is going to include Duluth's own Afro Geode and the Gemstones, alongside reggae band Dready Dread, and Minneapolis indie rockers The Orange Goodness. Again, there are also career workshops and a networking opportunity for local musicians associated with that show. Also this weekend, the Boat Club is launching its latest original production. It's been just over a year now. The Boat Club has been producing its own theater up at the Spirit of the North Theater in the Fitkers complex. Their latest show is called Tell Me on a Sunday. It's an Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. That's right, Andrew Lloyd Webber, the guy behind Cats, Phantom of the Opera, so many other, let's say, classic musicals, beloved, iconic. So this show premiered in 1979. It's a one-woman song cycle, so a little bit smaller scale, about a Brit who comes to the United States looking for love. That is premiering this weekend at the Spirit of the North Theater in the Fitkers complex under the auspices of Boat Club Productions. For more information about these events and other best bets for the weekend, check out duluthnewstribune.com. I'm Jay Gabler.
Now here's a look at today's headlines. Human remains, determined to be indigenous, were found during construction of the Twin Ports Interchange in Duluth, pausing work in one area of the project. The Duluth Police Department responded February 14th to the report of a possible human bone in a construction area of the Lincoln Park neighborhood where U.S. Highway 53 is being built. Duluth Police Department spokesperson Maddie Hilseth said in an email to the News Tribune. She said an archaeologist was on the scene when officers arrived and stated the bone is a partial jawbone. Then the medical examiner's office was consulted. The Fond du Lac Band was advised and collected the bone. Officials from the Minnesota Department of Transportation and other state agencies interviewed by the News Tribune on Thursday were intentionally vague about what was found and where it was found, citing state and federal laws. Dylan Gage, the field investigator for the Minnesota Indian Affairs Council, a state agency, said the find triggered Minnesota's Private Cemeteries Act and the Federal Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. Gage said this is the only such find during the massive, multi-year project on Interstate 35, U.S. Highway 53, and Interstate 535 at the interchange formerly nicknamed the Can of Worms. Construction work began in 2020 and ramped up in 2021. Nothing was found during the highway's original construction, dating back to the 1960s and 1970s. Dwayne Hill, district engineer for MnDOT, said the discovery triggered the project's unanticipated discovery plan, which was developed ahead of construction with consultation of Ojibwe and Dakota nations. Under the plan, work in that area stops to avoid additional burial disturbances, security is bolstered, and the proper agencies and tribal nations are informed of the find. Hill said crews working at that specific site have moved to other locations in the sprawling Twin Ports Interchange project. It is not yet known if the discovery will change the project timeline or design. Work on I-35 and the Garfield interchange will finish this fall, while the Highway 53 bridge is scheduled, as of now, for completion in fall 2024. Reconstruction of nearby local streets will wrap up in 2025. Human remains have been found at several recent road construction sites in Duluth. A burial ground was disturbed by crews after MnDOT failed to consult with the Fond du Lac bands of Lake Superior prior to the start of the Minnesota Highway 23 bridge replacement project over Mission Creek in the Fond du Lac neighborhood. In 2018, several empty, lidless wood coffins and possible human bones were found along Arlington Avenue during a planned archaeological exploratory ahead of a St. Louis County road project in that area. The items are assumed to be remnants left behind during a 1960s grave relocation project involving nearby Greenwood Cemetery, where about 5,000 people from the St. Louis County Poor Farm were buried from 1891 to 1947. Authorities on Thursday identified a 77-year-old former mayoral candidate who was allegedly killed by the father of a girl he had been accused of stalking. Lawrence Vincent Scully died after being found with multiple areas of head trauma in his home at 1109 East 5th Street late Wednesday afternoon, Cook County Sheriff Pat Eliason said. While he would not formally identify the suspect prior to an expected arraignment Friday, Eliason confirmed the homicide stemmed from an earlier conflict that included an application for an order for protection. Booking records show that a 27-year-old man who sought an order against Scully in 2018 was registered at the Cook County Jail at 5:11 p.m. Wednesday. The suspect allegedly reported the incident to authorities at approximately 4:48 p.m. Eliason did not offer any further details on the altercation or Scully's injuries, saying that the motive and circumstances are under investigation. Court records show the apparent suspect sought the protective order against Scully on behalf of his 22-month-old daughter in April 2018. Other court records indicate Scully was convicted of sexually assaulting a 6-year-old child in Kennebec County in 1979. Judge Michael Kuzo initially granted a temporary order preventing Scully from going within 6 blocks of the petitioner's home and from entering his workplace or the daycare center. However, a permanent order was denied in May 2018 after a hearing, with Kuzo simply writing, quote, "The allegations are not proven," end quote. Records show that orders for protection were entered against Scully in at least 2 other cases, both of which involved allegations of a long-running history of sexual abuse and claimed he was showing up at the petitioner's homes and workplaces. Scully ran for Grand Marais mayor in 2014, drawing attention in the process to his child molestation conviction. He received just 42 of the 600 votes cast in the election. It appears to be the first homicide to occur in Cook County since December 2015, when Marcus Roberts was fatally shot by Kirk Bigby at a holiday party at Bluefin Bay Resort in Tofty. Now here's a look at your forecast, brought to you by the News Tribune's hockey podcast, Bulldog Insider.
This weather forecast for the Duluth area, snow diminishing to flurries today, kind of a blustery east wind with temps in the 20s throughout the day. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low in the teens, east winds around 15 miles an hour and gusty at times. Snow redeveloping Saturday afternoon and possibly becoming heavy by Saturday afternoon in through Sunday with several inches of snow expected. This could end up being a fairly big snow around the Duluth Harbor area, finally tapering off by Sunday night. I'm Storm Tracker meteorologist John Wheeler.
Thank you to Bulldog Insider for their support. The weekly podcast, hosted by News Tribune reporter Matt Wellens and My Nine commentator Zach Schneider, features University of Minnesota Duluth hockey players, coaches, and alumni. New episodes drop every Thursday on duluthnewstribune.com or wherever you also get this podcast. Reporting for today's episode was done by Jimmy Lovren and Tom Olson. Thank you for listening to the Duluth News Tribune Minute. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.